Did KSI's own coach betray him? And are IShowSpeed and Cenat fighting in March of next year? We've got all the answers on today's episode of the Happy Punch News. Good evening and welcome to the Happy Punch News. I am your host, Conor McGregor. Welcome back after an incredible week in the boxing world. Did anyone catch the Day of Reckoning on December 23rd? What a fight card. Anthony Joshua is back. Huge win over Otto Wallin. Looked like the Joshua of old, but they fumbled the bag, bro. That's the first thing I want to talk about on this episode. The massive fumble that was Deontay Wilder versus Joseph Parker. They literally got Joshua and Wilder into the same room and couldn't make the fight happen. And then Parker goes and spoils the whole party. He ends up ruining Joshua and Wilder. He ruins the big heavyweight fight that everyone wants to see. Now we don't know what's going to happen because AJ's already beaten Parker pretty decisively when he won his world title. So we don't know if they're going to do a rematch of that again. It begs a lot of questions, but what a card. The heavyweights really delivered. A lot of surprises, a lot of shocks. Conor McGregor delivered. I guess let's get into that. Conor McGregor was all talk at this event. He was ringside. Everyone saw the memes of him and Ronaldo. Millions of views. In fact, you know what? I want to play that clip right now. I'm going to put that clip up and then we'll get back into the real news.
You know he beat Vidal. I love Manny. Tell Manny to blow 7 balls. Tell Manny to blow 7 balls and fight the other at a higher weight. Why not? It's his sport. You know, if he wants to come down to a weight, he should definitely use my weapon, my weapon. I should be up the ground. That's not fair. Say it to him. Is he a man or a mouse? Is Manny a man or a mouse?
Fair play to Ronaldo for putting up with all of that. So while he was there, he spoke to TalkSport about what's happening next in his career. Now, there's a possibility he could box Manny Pacquiao. If you watch that video of him and Ronaldo, he's talking about Pacquiao. He's talking about wanting to get Pacquiao up to his weight and do it in Saudi Arabia. And because he's going to Manny's sport, he wants to do it at that weight. Well, when he talked to TalkSport, he basically said, the UFC aren't offering me anything. Everyone knows UFC 300 is happening next April, probably in Las Vegas. And it's going to be a massive, massive event. Everyone wants the headliner to be Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler. After years of build-up, after Chandler's excessive call-outs, after the Ultimate Fighter season, last summer, we ended the Ultimate Fighter season. Let's get this fight on. But Conor says the UFC aren't offering him enough. The Saudis, of course. They've brought him to Fury versus Ngannou. They brought him to the Day of Reckoning. They clearly want to be in business with Conor McGregor. I've actually spoken to some people before who've said in the past the Saudis have shown real interest in getting McGregor over on kind of a 2-fight deal, UFC one and then boxing. This was a while ago, but obviously his UFC deal is pretty lucrative and would keep him in Las Vegas. That's where he fights. He's fought in New York once, but otherwise he's a Las Vegas guy. And I really do think Conor is going to make his comeback this year. Let's hear what he had to say to Gareth A. Davis on TalkSport.
Get your Mac back in there. Against who, though? The Mac has loads to offer and loads to deliver.
Against who?
They're talking Manny. I don't give a. They're talking Manny here in Saudi. The lads in the UFC aren't really talking any. So the lads here are talking Manny. The UFC aren't talking any. So I'm sitting here. I'm sitting here the usual, Gareth, you know, about getting, give me something, you know what I'm saying? I'm supposed to be back in April. It's supposed to be December.
Can I apologise as well? You were never the interim champion.
They've never treated anyone. No one's ever been treated for all the figures we've brought in this game. I sell more than all of them combined, yeah? I sell more than every one of them combined. No one in the history of the fight games ever been treated the way we've been getting treated at this minute, yeah? Through what I came through, through what I bring. You're going to shoot up in floodgates for me, yeah?
And in the influencer world, we have the undercard for Misfits 12. Shout out to our boys Ben Williams and Fox the G making their debuts on Misfits. Ben against Fez Batista, Fox the G against Small Spartan J. It's going to be a massive card for our fighters. It's going to be a massive card in general. HS Tiki Taki versus Teo Ricci, whoever that is. I'm not 100% sure. Should be Chase Damore. And those aren't the only influencer fights we're going to be talking about. Cenat, who I forgot existed. I thought he only existed in those memes about Phantom Tax and Skibbity Toilet. I genuinely forgot he was even a real streamer. But apparently he is. Apparently he's a big deal. And he is going to fight IShowSpeed in March. They were talking about contracts on stream. I'm going to show you the clip. What do you guys think?
Oh my god, I will beat that. Oh my god, I will beat her ass.
Speed!
Oh my god.
You won't beat my ass!
Oh god.
You literally got your ass beat, bro!
Oh,
Hey!
fight me then.
Hey,
You're
you got
pussy.
your ass beat.
You're pussy. You don't want to fight me though.
Next year, March?
Yeah, next year March.
Alright, so want me to send my people to send the contract over?
Yes, I'm on God, I'm dead ass.
You wanna do it? For real?
On God, March 24th
Wait.
on my life.
No. Look at me. Do you want me to, look at me. Look at me!
There's so much talk about the scene being done and there not being the right fights being made. Cenat versus IShowSpeed is the perfect fight to bring back influencer boxing like the good old days with Joe Weller and Theo Baker. Shout out, by the way, to their rematch. Let's get Theo Baker on the undercard of Joe Weller versus Bazinga. And I just believe Cenat versus IShowSpeed, it's two massive names. Neither of them are in the scene. Neither of them are guys who you've seen before in the ring. Well, aside from Speed and KSI, let's not count that. I think this is the fight that will bring back excitement in 2024. It remains to be seen if it would be a big Misfits event or if they would do it as kind of a spar, live stream type thing. And let's see if Cenat and IShowSpeed actually end up fighting each other. And now let's get on to the big one, KSI and his old coach, Vidal Riley. Did Vidal backstab KSI with his recent video on YouTube? So Vidal has a series called Real Rivals where he pits two fighters against each other in a fantasy matchup, and he looks at 6 attributes, puts them all together cumulatively, and whoever has the better score wins. For his big Christmas special, he put KSI against Jake Paul, the fight we all want to see. When I watched it, I thought he was super favorable to KSI. He gave durability to KSI, who's only ever had 6-round fights, when Jake has regularly gone the 8-round distance. He's gone 10 rounds with Nate Diaz. He hasn't been scheduled to go 6 since he fought Nate Robinson in November of 2020. Jake is an 8-round fighter, but he lost the durability points. Regardless, it was this comment from Vidal that got everybody talking.
My job obviously at one point was to contribute to the IQ. When he first started boxing, it was my job to lay the foundation for his IQ. With that being said, and I stand by this, his best performance is against Joe Weller, where he uses the jab, he uses the space whilst Weller's trying to cut him down. He's throwing hooks around the side of Weller's guard. He's attacking head and body. It's the most you've ever seen JJ use. The most fundamental punch in boxing is a jab, and that was when closer to when he first started, and I was coaching him to fight Weller. Since then, there has been a decline in skill shown.
Now, the weirdest part to me is 2 seconds later, in the same clip that's going viral everywhere that everyone's annoyed at, listen to what he had to say about KSI right here.
He's got faster, he's got more powerful, he's got more athletic, he's got more confident, but I haven't seen an improvement in boxing ability.
He literally complimented KSI. He literally said loads of nice things about his durability, about his power, his athleticism. He was super complimentary of KSI in this video, but that's not what the fans on social media are saying. Huge uproar, Mams Taylor putting out a cryptic tweet. It seems as though he and Vidal are good, having a little back and forth where they're basically saying you're allowed to have a difference of opinion. But fans are pissed off. They think that Vidal has turned on KSI. And I want to know what everyone in the comment section thinks. Did Vidal go too far with KSI? Did he stab him in the back? Ultimately, at the end of the video, they add up Jake's attributes, they add up KSI's attributes, and Jake wins the fight, which really did not go down well with the KSI fans. I've talked about this before. If you watch my interview with Wade, they do tend to get sensitive about these topics when, even though you can be 99% complimentary to JJ, if you have kind of a deferring opinion, it's like they have an us against the world type of mentality with JJ. And obviously that's good for him to have a fan base like that who will rally for him, but it also can get a little bit toxic. You're seeing a lot of people send a lot of hate Vidal's way. Vidal, by the way, who is like a brother to JJ, they're getting really vitriolic with Vidal, and I just don't know if they're going too far. And KSI, of course, is in the news a lot. We saw Tommy Fury saying he hates KSI. Let's see what he had to say.
Oh, KSI, he's in the dustbin, him. I hate him. KSI's in the bin. How are you enjoying that loss, KSI? Rejected appeal. As the only man I've ever known in boxing history to appeal a loss. You lost fair and square, mate. Deal with it. Get back on YouTube and do your thing. End of. And pay me dad the 250 grand as well, you cheapskate. Sore loser. Kicking billboards. What an idiot. Next question. Forget it.
So this interview with Tommy Fury on Sport Bible is super interesting. First off, he says he hates KSI. Then KSI responds and slags him off, basically makes fun of the fact that a YouTuber gave him his toughest fight. Then Tommy basically says he wants to fight Logan and he wants to stick around in the scene. And then Logan comes out and says, hey, Jake has been on the phone with your team and made you an offer. His 8-1 brother Jake Paul wants to fight Tommy again. Their fight in February was massive. A rematch would be even bigger again. I'm sure the Saudis would love to do it. There'd be massive money in that fight. But apparently Tommy is pricing himself out of the fight. So Jake comes out and he basically says that he's been on the phone with Tommy's team talking about a rematch. What do you think? Is Tommy running from the rematch? I don't see why he would. He dominantly won the first fight and there's so much money in the second one. I think he's just trying to get his worth out of the fight, and it's a bit of negotiation, but it looks as though we're heading towards Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury 2. And maybe they might have Dean the Great on the undercard, because it seems like Dean and Misfits could be on the outs if these posts from Most Valuable Promotions are anything to go by. Of course, Dean is a Florida native, and he was in Orlando for Jake's fight with Andre August earlier this month. They took some pictures together, and then Most Valuable Promotions posted on Instagram about Dean the Great, basically heaping praise on him. Maybe Dean could be looking at his options. Obviously, Dean's a former Happy Punch fighter, and he's a big Misfits deal. He has so many massive fights. I mean, it seems like every day some new A-list lightweight or coming up from super lightweight fighter is talking about him. Devin Haney has talked about him, Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia. Everyone who's anyone in that division is talking about Dean the Great. But will he be fighting those people under the Misfits banner? Or will he be fighting them under the Most Valuable Promotions banner? Playing around, he was quite complimentary of Jake. He took a little shot, saying that he and Jake are the only two to beat any Golden Gloves champions in the influencer world when he beat Andre August. And of course, Dean beat Waleed Sharks, who is a Dubai Golden Gloves champion. Is Dean going to swap KSI for Jake Paul? Unfortunately, that is all we have time for on today's episode. I will be back with you super shortly. Happy Christmas, everyone. I think I'll have one more before the new year, at which point I will wish you a very happy 2024. Please drop a like and subscribe and leave some nice comments. As usual, the comments on the last one were great. If the views were a little better, we'd be flying it. And I'll see you all super soon.